Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the debut episode of the Netcode podcast. With me today, I have my wonderful co-hosts in this little new endeavor that we're starting. We got Mac, better known as Gaming with Mac, and we got Minder as well of Daisy, Fame, Hunting Bandits. If you guys don't know these guys, then their links, their Twitters and YouTubes and stuff will be down in the description of every episode. Minder, you're on the big screen now, so we can just see you nodding along like a...
Well, I'm waiting for your intro.
I'm just astounded.
This is my first time doing anything like this. Minder, you had a little podcast going on your channel for a while.
Yeah.
But,
that was fun.
Yeah, some good episodes in there. So just to give you guys some sort of background on what we're going to be doing. This is a sort of gaming / other things that we're interested in type of podcast. We're going to be covering weekly news, looking at the big headlines, and doing some discussion and doing some, just giving our thoughts on it, having a little conversation. We were supposed to have Glasse on this week as well, and as you can see, we've got him in the sponsor thing. No, it's that side. It's not reversed. Got him in the sponsor slot there. Just to give him a little shout out. His link will be in the description as well. He'll hopefully be on in some future episodes. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. As it says there, if you do want to sponsor the show, then at the description and you can contact me about that. But I don't expect we'll get too many sponsors when we're just starting off.
Whoa! Don't sell yourself short. This is potential, man.
Okay, so I think it's important we need to tell people where they'll be able to find this podcast.
Yeah, so this podcast is going to be certainly starting off on my channel, but we'll see. There's possibly space for it to go elsewhere in the future, but obviously start it off here, get things down, and see where it goes from there. So I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do something like this for a very long time. Also, obviously, having watched podcasts like Painkiller already from the COD community and a few others, it just seems like a lot of fun. So here we are. Finally got it off the ground.
I am pretty sure you guys are the COD guys, right?
The COD?
Me and Mac.
I'm everything.
Mostly you, Jay. I know you're a COD guy, Jamie.
I'm a COD guy, yeah. I certainly was for a very long time, and I'm looking forward to perhaps getting back into it with Advanced Warfare. We haven't really got any news stories on that, so we won't be covering Advanced Warfare too much in this episode. Yeah. But I definitely want to cover it in future podcasts, and I'm pretty interested in it so far.
Okay.
I think Mac also.
I'm into everything, aren't I? Especially games that die. I like a bit of Crisis 3 and a bit of Titanfall. It's always good trying to find a match there. But yeah, I've played Advanced Warfare for quite a bit, but we won't talk about that, will we? Should we choose? Should we move on to the first one?
Yeah, let's get into our first. So our first topic, the big headline, as I'm sure you guys have already heard, Amazon have bought Twitch for $970 million, pretty much $1 billion.
Yeah.
Which
people
kind of
30 million.
Which was weird because you heard confirmations about Google buying Twitch, and then all of a sudden this shows up.
So I guess they were both in late talks, and Twitch were playing they were bouncing off both Google and Amazon.
I've actually heard why this transaction wasn't actually finished. There was some conflict of interest for both parties, and therefore you need to settle a specific settlement, which you need to pay either party if you're going to split away if things don't work out within the companies when they merge. You have to set that up legally, and for Twitch, that was for them a lot more money than it was for Google, because Google's just like rich as fuck, and Twitch obviously is not, and they still had to pay the same amount. So Twitch just said, no, we're not going to do this, because if we end up splitting, then we're going to basically have to pay everything that we own, and if Google splits, it's like, all right, well, let's just split, and then we'll find something else. So. And that's why I think they went with Amazon, because I don't think there was a conflict there. And actually makes sense if you think of it, how a lot of people are playing games on Twitch, and then you would actually, I think that's going to be implemented on Twitch. You're going to have a bar at the top saying, buy this game now on Amazon, like the one that's being played, and it's a direct link towards Amazon.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And Google doesn't have something like that. They don't have a platform, a store, or something like that where they offer those specific games. And Amazon does. Amazon does.
Aside from obviously the adverts and what they can do there to push people over to Amazon the store, I don't understand what else they're supposed to bring. All the PR stuff they've said is all vague and general PR rubbish, you know. But I don't exactly know what Amazon's supposed to be bringing or changing. But Twitch have said that nothing will change. It just allows them, if I find the quote, it just allows them to expand in some way. You know, being a part of Amazon will let us do even more for our community, create tools and service faster than we could have independently. So they'll have the funding, I guess, and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, you also have to think of the streaming services Amazon is offering. Like, there's hardware in place and servers in place for those streaming services that are a lot more expensive to run than the streaming services Twitch is offering, which is, as we know, shaky at the moment, very often actually. But if you think like a company like Netflix, that also has those streaming services from the same quality, that's going to be very stable, and perhaps they can utilize those streaming services through Twitch, through all the different streaming services Amazon is offering. So that's that's a correlation between the two mostly, I think.
Right.
It's pretty clear that obviously Twitch are going to be Amazon have a lot of money to invest obviously, and Twitch it's always been a little bit shaky, especially from the European side, hasn't it, with Twitch? The stream delays and sometimes just the constant buffering on certain days. Twitch just seems to really not work that well.
Yesterday
so
night.
It's pretty clear where Twitch will benefit from this, but I wanted to kind of attack it from a community angle, because obviously a lot of people were quite skeptical about the benefits of Google buying Twitch. When everyone thought that it was going down that road, there were a lot of people going, the YouTubeification of Twitch is a phrase I heard chucked around. Yeah. And obviously when the recent thing with the VOD copyright music, the content ID system that they implemented on Twitch, people were thinking, oh, that's Google's hand in there, starting to mess around with it. Obviously now we know that's not the case. So I wonder what you guys think the possible implication.
I have a take.
So many syllables.
Yes. I have a take on this because definitely in the old days, I'm not sure if you remember on Twitch, where they would literally stream entire movies towards Twitch, and they like that is so often to do, like something you can just tune in. A lot of people in the chat going, "Oh, I love this movie, this and this and this and that." Obviously, when there's going to be a copyright ID system, that's going to be gone. But you can expect that from a merger from such a huge company like Amazon or Google. Like Twitch was, of course, one of the tiny companies that don't necessarily need all those specific best ways of utilizing the best out of how to make more money. And of course, when you see something like Amazon or Google take this over, you can expect something like this to happen. So I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually okay with it, because it's just business. It has nothing to do with, oh, you guys are not really thinking about the actual people that use Twitch, the consumer, because like Twitch was way too awesome actually about all the shit you can stream and all the shit you can play and all the shit you could do on Twitch. And now actually it becomes a little bit more like YouTube, but I think YouTube got a little bit overboard at some points. But I think we're just gonna have to wait and see how bad it's gonna get.
It was never the last with Twitch. As these companies get bigger, they inevitably have to sort of crack down on the copyright issue. It's funny how when the thing with Twitch hit, the VOD thing, a lot of people were like, right, that's it, I'm going to Hitbox, which is kind of fair enough, but you have to understand that, say enough people move to Hitbox and Hitbox starts gaining traction and becomes the next big platform, at some point they're going to run into exactly the same problem. It's not going to go away. It's not Twitch's fault, really. It's if anything, if you're going to blame anyone, you need to blame the dinosaur archaic music industry for not adapting to the new times, which is of course something we've seen over the last couple of decades. Just the whole piracy thing, it's got really out of hand sometimes, I think.
It is a shame because on YouTube, when it recognizes a song being used, it'll obviously advertise it in the description, and actually link you to iTunes. So if there's a song used, you can, obviously they'll stop the monetization of the video, but they'll also use it to advertise that as well. And it'd be nice if Twitch, obviously some songs you're not going to get away with, but some artists could allow that, and then as the song plays, it advertises the song to be purchased from, I don't know, Amazon's music store, MP3
Exactly,
store.
yeah.
I think we could definitely see something like that. I mean, this initial implementation of their copyright system was obviously pretty heavy-handed. I think the idea of muting 30 minutes of audio, I think it was.
Right, and one was on their own. One was on their own stream as well. You've got to make sure they know that.
Oh
they
yeah,
muted their own.
Like the first thing that happened when they implemented that is, oh shit, we fucked up.
Yeah, so I think
quite
we'll
funny.
see, with the help of Amazon and a little bit more thought, I think we'll see that system get refined, and hopefully they can do a better job of it than YouTube and learn a little bit from YouTube's mistakes.
Yeah. The problem with the size of these things is it's going to have to be automated. There's no manually going through it all, so it's always going to be some ugly algorithm that's taking people down. But I don't know, it just seems so heavy-handed and unexpected as well, doesn't it? But I don't know how necessary video on demand is on Twitch. Most of the big guys upload it to a channel on YouTube just to have it there. I don't know how often people like encouraging people to miss the stream and then watch it later. It's more of a watch it now. That's your only chance, and then get people watching live instead.
Yeah, that's what I said when I made a video on my thoughts on the Twitch VOD thing. I was kind of like, yeah, everyone is blowing this out of proportion a little bit. It's only VODs. Obviously, it does set a precedent, and I think that's the only thing that worries me. But I think that that Twitch will do. I hope anyway. I have faith that Twitch will do a good job. I think it would be very damaging to the website if they did start sort of using that heavy-handed approach on actual live streams. I think that could really, really hurt them in the long run. And I think they know that. So I think we will see some kind of implementation with Amazon, perhaps with their music store. And of course, there will be artists that are going to give their permission. Or people like Monster Cat have always been pretty chilled out with everyone using their music on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I would hope that they would take a similar approach to Twitch. They could maybe work out some kind of, because there's those kind of channels that you can stream on Twitch, right? I've never really understood how they work, but you'll see someone like playing Battlefield 4 on, and then they have a kind of little network or channel. And I've never really got that, but they could perhaps work something out with artists having certain agreements with groups of popular streamers or something like that. I'm sure they'll figure something out.
Right then. So Amazon's buying Twitch.
Yeah.
Bought.
That's a thing.
It's bought.
Bought. Yeah, it's all done. So
done deal.
Segueing into our next topic. So smooth. Sony and PlayStation have come under fire from the hackers and the DDoSers once again.
The Lizard Squad.
The Lizard Squad, yeah.
And, the Lizard Squad.
This is kind of, because so this happened before. I can't remember exactly when. I think it's maybe last year or the year before. The PlayStation Network was down for quite a long time, wasn't it? It was a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And there was a big scare about people's credit card information being leaked and that kind of thing. This particular attack is a little bit different in that not only did they target the PlayStation Network, they also targeted the World of Warcraft servers, Blizzard's servers, and they've threatened to attack Microsoft's Xbox Live network as well, although I don't know if anything is going to come of that. And all of this was accompanied by a bomb threat tweeted to American Airlines, one of the
By
Sony...
the same guys, right?
Yeah, the same guys. One of the Sony executives was on a plane, on a domestic flight across the USA, I believe, and they tweeted to American Airlines about there being a bomb on board. So, pretty serious stuff, actually. Not the usual kind of...
Well, if you think about it, like the DDoSing is one thing. Like DDoSing by itself isn't necessarily a terrible thing. It costs companies a lot of money, sure, but it's not
it's
something that you
inconvenience for the
hack.
players,
Yeah, it's an inconvenience for the players. But what you do is you pay a specific service, and that service is going to launch all these requests from PCs towards that specific IP, and going to cause it to crash, cause it to overload. But if you're going to put a bomb threat on Twitter, on a plane, post 9/11, to me, that's like, all right, bro, you just want to go to Guantanamo. You just want to stay there for a little while and get beaten and shit, because that's basically causing for terrorism, right? That's how you're going to be seen, like Patriot Act and everything.
Yeah. The FBI is involved now, isn't it? Tracking.
Yeah, I mean, because I think if they just kept it to the DDoSing, then it would have been sort of taken a little bit less seriously. But because of the bomb scare, the FBI are investigating it, and I think that these guys might be a little bit in over their heads, perhaps.
So I actually read through Lizard Squad's Twitter. You know, having a little look. I was actually playing on the PlayStation as it went offline. And I was on a single player game there, so you know it's all good. But I was scrolling through his Twitter, and he was just, you know, all the connections with what's happening overseas, obviously, and all the ISIS stuff. So I'm just going to bring him up. I'll be surprised if they haven't got rid of him. But
I'm watching your Twitter right now. It says we're going to have a party at #PAX for 50K. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Is that going to be? They're not going to be at PAX. They're probably going to fuck something up there.
Maybe.
I mean, so according to the article I've got up here, the motivation for these attacks was sort of against the greed of these companies. Specifically with PlayStation, they were saying that they're earning a lot of profits, but they're clearly not spending it on improving the PlayStation Network service, and as evidence of that, they went, look, we can just DDoS it. So clearly, you haven't spent enough, I think, was there.
Well, anyone can DDoS anything.
Logic.
As long as you have that, if you know where to DDoS, then anyone can DDoS with money.
Well, I didn't say it was sound logic.
Well, it's not like you had with on PSN with all the credit cards getting exposed. Like that's something different. That's something hacked in towards the files that Sony keeps on their customers. But DDoS seems a little bit more harmless to me.
I think from this we just have to thank that everything's not always online, and that, you know, the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, didn't happen, and, you know, we can actually stay offline and play games because Xbox One always online. Something could have took this down for good, couldn't it? For like months at a time, and that's something to be thankful for. Because I was playing Last of Us, I was offline. My account got signed out, but I carried on playing. And if people could just attack companies, obviously I'm not trying to be selfish as a gamer. You know, I want to continue playing. Don't make me offline. But in the sense that it's a company being taken offline, its whole product, millions of people have all at once. You know, it goes down. It's just going to be chaos. And I think the DDoS shows what could have happened as well as what is happening. And online DRM or whatever, it's never a good thing, because it's obviously controversial and people will attack controversial things like it's doing now.
Well, if you think about it, that whole thing, the difference was between console and PC mostly is just console was a more social thing. You would go to a friend's house, pick up the controller, you're going to play. Like, oh, dude, you still have your FIFA? Can I borrow your FIFA? You're going to lend them out your FIFA. You're going to get a shitty COD game in return. You're gonna have a great time switching out these games. But if you compare it to PC, like PC is all these DRM things where it is just like Steam. You buy a game, it's yours. Well, they actually have the new family sharing system now. They do. I haven't gotten into that because I think it's still in beta. But it's supposed to be working really well. But outside of that, it's all like Steam. We've accepted Steam, and I think the biggest difference between Steam and this DRM thing they proposed for Xbox is mostly the price of the games, because we accept Steam as a standard for PC so much. It's because, okay, we're gonna be able to buy Armor 3 for $10 on sale. I don't care. I can borrow it to anyone or lend it to anyone.
Well,
That's a
and
big
of
difference,
course,
I think.
If for some reason someone wanted to attack Steam, the DRM wouldn't matter as much because you can play all of your single player games and stuff on Steam. If they took Valve's servers down, whatever, it doesn't stop you from playing those games. Unlike if the Xbox One had been an always online console, as they suggested in the PR disaster of a launch that they had.
It's quite amusing, actually.
Oh, we've lost Mac.
We've lost Mac. Great,
We've lost Mac.
You had one job.
You had one job, Mac.
All right, send him an invite again. I was just going to continue on.
Oh no, he's back. He's back.
That was odd.
Yeah, you're back, but you have no webcam.
No, he has a webcam.
Oh, I have webcam.
Not on my screen, you don't. Which is the only one that matters. So.
Hey, fuck you, man.
One second. Now?
There we go.
Okay.
Hey.
That was weird. So yeah, I think obviously to sort of get back to the PSN DDoS, I think, like you said, the DDoS it came back online very quickly. It wasn't anything like as bad as the attack before. I don't really think it's that big of a deal, really. Obviously, the guys that tweeting bomb scares and that kind of thing, the FBI will investigate and deal with it how they will. Honestly, anyone who's stupid enough to tweet a bomb threat to an airline on Twitter deserves anything they get, in my opinion. That's just not a very intelligent thing to do. Regardless of your motives.
But when you think about it, right? How many people are sending bomb threats to public companies or airliners?
I think
and
how
many of them actually put a bomb there? Like, what is that percentage? Do you think?
Oh well, no. The thing is, like, no one's gonna tweet. I mean, there was no threat for 9/11. There was no warning. There was no threat.
That's the thing. Like, if you're gonna bomb something, you're not gonna give them a warning.
Exactly, but at the same time, they kind of have to take all the threats seriously. And I think you're right. Like, a lot of people do actually kind of for a joke or whatever. Because there was that girl from was it Holland, a couple of months back, who was suddenly under investigation from the FBI for tweeting a bomb threat at one of the American airlines. And she was like, "Oh shit, sorry, it was a joke, sorry." And like everyone at the internet kind of blew up. All these people going, "Ah, what a stupid girl!" Like,
was a hashtag you mad in that tweet?
But yeah, I think that's the ultimate in stupid trolling. Like, oh no, let's troll an airline and say we put a bomb on their plane.
I don't know what your thought process behind that is. Is like, yeah, I'm gonna do something funny, and my friends are probably gonna laugh about it. Probably not. I'm not gonna laugh about it myself, but I'm gonna get myself in trouble just because for the lulz. It's not how you're supposed to use Twitter, people. It's not how you're supposed to use Twitter. Twitter is for cats and videos from ice bucket challenges from 2-year-olds who start cursing and shit. That's what Twitter is for.
That video, man.
Can you play Blizzard's games offline? Can you play like Hearthstone or I don't know if you've tried, I guess. But
I don't own any Blizzard games.
They all go through the actual client, so I think you have to boot up the client to play the games. You can't just obviously.
True.
Well, I think most of like Hearthstone and World of Warcraft and stuff. Obviously, they are only online games, aren't they? They're only multiplayer.
Well, Hearthstone has its like little campaign bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so you could potentially then. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not that much of a Blizzard games playing guy, but
no, me neither.
I tried to get into Hearthstone, and then because it looked exciting on Twitch, like, oh my god, this looks fucking awesome. Then I got into it, I was like, oh my god, I don't have a clue what I'm doing.
Oh, it is good. It's awesome. Do you not think the cheat serial is great?
I never played like Magic the Gathering or any of these card games or anything. I feel like that's what it's kind of aimed at, that audience.
Oh, I see. Those people.
I don't know if you're one of those.
There was a hidden burn in there.
What do you mean those? What do you mean those people?
You're a nerd, Mac.
Yeah. Get a life, scrub.
No.
Buy a lightsaber or something. God. Let's go LARPing, guys. Let's go LARPing.
Oh god,
Go all the way.
And no, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, fine, but just it's not for me. Okay, so I guess we talked about Steam a little bit there. So let's have a really tenuous link from that into a topic that Mac
we've
found.
got to work on your.
Dude, it's the first episode. Okay,
You've got to work on your segues.
It's fine.
In 100 episodes from now, we'll look back and we'll think, wow.
Wow, Jamie.
Wow,
Mac
Jamie's
hasn't
still a
changed.
retard.
Jamie was so
Nothing
much better.
has changed at all.
Not
Jamie
feeling
was
exactly
so much
the
better
same.
about that.
Okay,
Alright,
so yeah, you were talking about Steam machines.
you're doing an awkward segue. Go on, Jamie. What were you saying?
Just let me do my awkward segue in peace. God.
Okay.
So, let's bring up the PC versus consoles debate again, because that hasn't been talked about enough, and
No.
I haven't pissed enough people off with my videos on the matter.
I was just about to say, we have no idea what your opinion is on this matter. Twitter,
Hello,
or you-
Pixel audience. Hello.
Hello, peasants. What? That was a funny video.
That video. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting comment section.
It was
let's
supposed
say.
to be a funny video as well. It's not, so many people took it seriously.
They did. They did.
Which I
I
can
didn't expect
understand.
so many people on Pixel Enemy to be so sour about that.
Well, give them the excuse. Right,
Yeah,
okay,
they'll
come on.
be sour about anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can we...
Yeah, so so Mac
please,
found
talk,
this.
Talk shit about Pixel Enemy
This-
audience.
Mac,
That's
please.
great.
I'm trying to do the awkward transition.
So, Steambox.
You're still doing it, JB.
Steambox, it's because you. Oh my god.
Just do it. Just make the transition already. Just do it.
Basically, there's a Steam box that is probably better than next-gen consoles, except because it's a Steam box, you can use it like a console, and it gives no one any excuse not to transition to PC gaming.
Right.
Okay.
Because
Right, next story.
No, because it is basically a PC, but then
But it's in
So
a
to-
box, so you can have it
to
in your
just
living
be-
room.
To be clear, it's the CyberPower PC one, and it's $499, which is
Yeah, let me just bring this. I can bring this
Xbox
article on
One
screen,
price.
actually.
right. So it's still a bit more expensive. The article does kind of mislead a little bit, but yeah,
So yeah, it's
getting close. I think
if I
that's
just
the
look at some of the specs on this.
right. So it's more powerful than the PS4. All that stuff.
Without getting into the two sort of technical side of it,
I like the look of it. I have to say.
It's quite sleek looking, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of the Xbox 360 for some reason. I don't know why.
Just because it's white.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, it's got a fairly similar. It's got 8 gig of RAM, the same as both of the next gen consoles. However, it's better RAM.
PS4 has DDR5, right?
That's something crazy. I'm not.
Yeah, PS4 has DDR5. That's why it has such big of an edge on
Uh,
the Xbox One.
PS4 does indeed have 8 gig of DDR5.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, so
That RAM-
PS4 might
that
have an
RAM
edge on
though.
memory there. And like you said, this Steam machine is more expensive, $100 more than the
Than a PS4.
PS4. I mean, I'll put the links to the articles that we talked about in the description of each podcast, so you guys can go and have a look at this for yourself if you're interested. But as I mentioned in my video on this subject, I think really you can make back, even if the PC is initially more expensive, you will make back that money in game prices. In
Steam.
If you buy a lot of games, even if you don't buy that many games, if you buy like 4 or 5 games a year, you will make that money back in a couple of years. Because the difference in price is just so massive. I mean, I got Watch Dogs on PC for £23 off G2A. Pre-order £23, and as opposed to what it would have been $45 on the next gen consoles. And for that, I get a really badly optimized game.
I was just about to say, how happy are you with that purchase?
I get a game that looks absolutely no better because you hid all of the options.
Well, they have that mod now, right? Or that change.
They have that mod, yeah. That's another advantage of PC gaming. But yeah.
Did you install that mod?
I did install one of them. I haven't played Watch Dogs in a while. Actually,
I've got some recorded of a nighttime mission where it's raining and it's got the new mod on, and it does look good. So in this thing, we always default to the price of the the PC is more expensive, so there's that. But I think it's more about psychology. It's not the fact that it's a bit more expensive, but then you earn it back in the long run. I think it's more just the fact that people stereotype PC gaming as sat here, with a keyboard, mouse, and all that. And it's a bit more complicated because there's more to go wrong. Troubleshooting a PC is a nightmare. But having a Steam box where it is the console form factor and it's everything that a console offers, bar exclusives, and having that being able to sit in your living room and play it, I think that's more of what people want. They're not too asked about the price. It's just the fact that they just want to have it as a console. But it never seems that way, does it? Like playing on Steam and all that stuff, it always seems like an alien thing to those who have Xbox 360s and PS4s.
Well, I think
Xbox Ones.
the troubleshooting thing is probably the most valid argument that I really can't. I mean, I do like to champion the PC side of things, but I really can't come up with any kind of counter to that point.
Warranty.
Especially if you have something like DayZ.
Oh, right.
The early access games.
That's early access. I think you should take that out of the equation. But if you look at Watch Dogs, for instance, you expect for a PC that you clearly paid a lot for money for when you compare it to a console, and then have it run actually worse than the actual console. But that's the fault. Yeah. Well, exactly. Eventually, you can figure it out a little bit. But that's all just the cause or the faults of the companies that develop it.
Yeah.
It's if this Steam thing, this Steam games, Steam machines are gonna be a thing, then companies should have this attitude. Okay, we're gonna develop for three different platforms, either the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. All three. And the PC should definitely be in there, just because, and then from Steam Machine, the port's not going to be that much because it's basically just a PC. But they're going to be running on Linux, right?
Yeah, it's a Linux-based SteamOS.
Okay, so I don't know how that works because I'm not known with Linux at all.
I actually put Linux on my laptop the other day because I thought Windows 7, I thought it would run better. And it does run a little bit better. I have Ubuntu on there for anyone. Anyone who knows anything about Linux, that's like the ultimate PC nerd, is moving on to Linux. I think most console gamers probably don't even know what it is. But there you go. What I wanted to say was...
the elitist Jamie comes back up.
Yeah. Hello, hi, I'm still here.
You console guys probably don't even know where that is.
Actually, to be fair, I knew what it was when I played on console.
Console's not that bad if you think about it. Like the reason I stepped from the Xbox 360. Well, no, wait. I first of all started with the Super Nintendo, then the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then I played the first Halo at a friend's house, and I had a lot of fun playing that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy an Xbox 360, and from there on, I play a lot of Halo. And then I eventually bought a PC, and I was like, oh my god, the PC is the best step ever. It is expensive, but once you go PC, bro, you cannot go back. And then you realize, well, shit, I still want to play Halo. And I can't because it is an exclusive. And that's basically, to me, the only reason why you would buy a console is exclusives.
Right. Which is a shame. And it is a shame that at these, like when I was at Gamescom and Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced for a Xbox One exclusive launch. And then these journalists sat in front of me started cheering. And I was like, what the hell are you cheering, really? Like, they're putting money into plugging up holes, like forcing people to go one way and not experience it elsewhere. And it's like I've got a PS4, which is a Naughty Dog machine, basically. That's what it is. The Last of Us, Uncharted, that's what it is. And I accept that fact, but I don't think we should celebrate the fact that exclusives exist, aside from it forces developers to really tailor it to one console and not, this parity issue where PC gets a kick in the balls because they only wanted to optimize it for one thing and then, port it shit to a different platform. I think exclusives are a nasty thing, but it's all that they have now. It's all that consoles have, and Unless you're really close-minded to PC gaming, I don't think there's any other reason.
Exactly. Because that's the biggest selling point for the consoles. It is because the publishers of the consoles, either Sony or Microsoft, pay a lot of money to the developers, or probably fund the game themselves. If you look at Microsoft Game Studios,
right.
They basically have those, so you can have those exclusives that they basically paid for. So you would buy an Xbox. Look at Gears of War, look at Forza, Halo in particular. That's why people want to buy an Xbox One over a PS4. That is the reason. If I would buy a console, which looks very likely right now, I'm not sure when, of course, because of money-wise, because it is still expensive. But I'm gonna buy an Xbox One over a PS4 just because I just want to get my Halo days back. And Halo is just. And if you look at the trailer, it's just you're so excited to play Halo, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna. Oh, shit, I can't play it. Fuck.
This is really annoying because this is twice we've had the perfect segue into the last thing we want to talk about. Minder's setting it up beautifully with Halo.
Did you see that? How I did that segue? That's how you should do it.
And then we kind of drifted away, and you were like, "No, guys, I'll bring it back. It's fine." But the thing is, I really want to talk more about PC and console. But I think what's going to happen in a
reverse segued it.
Yeah, I'm that bad. That is impressive. That bad that I actually undid the segue that you did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Segue.
No, so I think the thing is people look at my PC elitist video. Regardless, it was somewhat tongue in cheek, but I was also kind of serious. And really, as I said at the end of that video, my purpose is not to come and shit all over console gamers. My purpose is not to try and judge people for what they choose. I completely understand, obviously, that for some people, console just makes more sense. It's a more casual experience a lot of the time. For people that have families, if they wanted the Kinect, I mean, I'm sure some people must actually play those Kinect games. Otherwise, they wouldn't still sell them. So, well, it is Microsoft, you never know. But what I really would love in some kind of amazing gaming socialism is for us all to just come together on one console, or one PC, one platform.
You see, there you already made the difference. You said either one console or one PC. You didn't say one device, because you're already.
No, I said change it to one platform. One platform.
Okay.
Come together on one platform,
which is
and that way no one gets screwed over by exclusives. No one gets screwed over by ports, like poor, unoptimized ports.
Then you're going to get a monopoly in the market.
The problem...
You're going to have one company being so powerful with that one device that they're going to go, all right, well, we can set up any rules we want because you're going to buy this device anyway, and
the problem with exclusives...
Well, that's why that platform should be PC, because they don't do that.
Okay.
The problem with exclusives being not exclusive is that sometimes the funding for that game itself, especially for the massive blockbusters, they wouldn't be able to make that game if Microsoft wasn't giving them so much money. And
that's very true.
So it might not even... Exclusives are a bit of a nightmare, really, but I don't know.
They're kind of necessary, aren't they?
Yeah.
Can't really do away with them.
Well, they still do their job.
Well, speaking of exclusives,
no,
Halo Master Chief Collection. Let's talking about that.
Good time, nice.
Yeah, it was okay in the end. I kind of, Minders was better, but let's talk a little bit about the Master Chief Collection. So we haven't. This is not based on any particular news article or anything other than the fact that it's coming out soon. But the reason why we wanted to talk about it is, Mac, you've already got an Xbox One, right?
I've got PS4.
Oh, you
actually.
got PS4.
I've not. I have played it though. I've at Gamescom. I had to go on the old.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Look at you.
I played a 10-year-old game.
I said boo because he has a PS4.
Oh right. Well, Naughty Dog.
Sony.
I've never played The Last of Us, so getting the remastered version. Oh yes.
Right.
Why don't you go in the comments of the videos and tell how Xbox One is so shit and PS4 is so much better?
Oh, please don't.
Right, so Halo.
Yeah, so the reason we wanted to talk about it a bit is as Minder mentioned, he and myself as well, we're both thinking of investing in an Xbox One pretty much for the sole reason that we really want to play Halo.
Back to being a
both
peasant,
big
yeah.
Halo fans. Have to stoop down to the peasants level just because of the exclusives. And I mean, for me also, there's Advanced Warfare because I am a COD guy and the game looks good and COD
You can play it on PC.
No, you can't. Not really.
What you don't know? I mean, Ghost was really bad, that port, but this is Sledgehammer Games. You don't know how they will do it.
I mean,
this can be entirely different.
No, I believe there was actually an interview where a guy from Sledgehammer pretty much went, "Nah, fuck PC."
Paraphrasing.
In
Paraphrasing
so many
a bit.
words. Yeah,
Right.
a little bit. But no, I'm not gonna sit here holding out hope for a good pod on PC because Black Ops 2 was all right. But it still just feels a little bit wrong playing it with a mouse and keyboard somehow. So, yeah, Minder, why don't you kind of riff on Halo Master Chief Collection a little bit?
Okay, so the reason why I got so excited for Halo, just like I mentioned before, I played all the games thus far. Some were not so good. If you look at Halo ODST, which was basically out of like Master Chief not included, which is pretty much the same as Reach. So therefore, it wasn't as cool. But I saw the some footage of the campaign remastered from Halo 2, and I absolutely tilted my desk. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I tilted my desk, but it looked so fucking amazing because like all the old audio was still in, recognized the entire thing, and everything wasn't like, oh, I saw it on a Twitch stream as well, so like 60 FPS, and I was like, I must have this awesomeness, and then I got so excited, and I think how much is it? It's $60, right? €60.
Yeah, it's just a standard sort of next gen price.
But if you think about it, it's Halo Combat Evolved, so the first one remastered, Halo 2 remastered, Halo 3 remastered as well.
No, I think Halo 3 is it's not remastered, but it
will run in 60 FPS
and
yeah,
1080. Everything is 1080p 60.
Yeah,
so
and then you have Halo 4 60 FPS as well.
Right.
Which I think Halo 4 wasn't that bad of a game.
I thought it was alright.
Honestly, the only thing that really bothered me about that game is jetpacks.
Right.
Those still bother me.
I think it introduced a bit too many random things, and when you introduce randomness to a Halo game, it kind of feels a bit odd, because even the casual matchmaking is always competitive in that it is balanced. Whereas when you have jetpacks and all these different powers, it was all a bit weird, you know.
Yeah.
Still fun, but not Halo, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
I really enjoyed the campaign, but I did feel it was a bit short, maybe.
Halo 4?
Yeah, Halo 4.
Yeah.
Because Halo 3 was a pretty mammoth campaign, actually.
Right.
And Halo 4 felt a
Loved
little bit shorter, but it was still good. And then I think I don't know, I went to a friend's house or something, and I somehow lost my Halo 4 disc literally 2 weeks after it came out.
Is it still full price now? Probably, right? Because it's the latest Halo series.
It's probably not full. Well, no, it's a last gen game now, so I doubt it's still full price.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to, with the Master Chief Collection, I'm kind of looking forward to actually giving Halo 4 multiplayer a bit more of a chance, because although I did play quite a few hours in those 2 weeks, I haven't been able to go back to it since then. So yeah, that's my experience with Halo 4.
Jack Frank's, I didn't actually see this myself, but Jack Frank said that when you go into multiplayer, you have everything accessible. So there's over 100 maps right there, so that when you do your matchmaking, you can choose which Halo to do matchmaking in, or you can do every single one. So you can have Halo 3 on this map. Oh my, I can't remember a map from Halo. That's bad, isn't it?
Halo 3, Guardian. Guardian was the best one. I'm sorry.
And the next map could then
I'm ready to have this argument with you.
What's the big one? The Valley one? The massive Valley?
That's Valhalla.
Right, okay. Oh, that's bad. So they remastered that, didn't they, for Halo 4? So you can go from Halo 3, Valhalla, to Halo 4, and then just all in the same lobby without changing, which is crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a truly, if you ask me, that is a truly next-gen experience.
Right.
I mean, I don't really like the term next-gen. And this is not me bashing on consoles again. This is me bashing on specific Xbox One and PS4, they should have been more advanced than they were. When the 360 came out, well, if you look at every other generation, if you look at from the original Xbox to the 360, that jump was phenomenal. Or from the PS2 to the PS3 in terms of how the games looked, in terms of the online experience, the features that were offered. That was a huge jump. And if you then look at Xbox 360 to Xbox One, despite it being, what was it, 8 years, 9 years? All
I have something to say about that.
Like, the games do look better, especially now that we're getting into the stage of kind of a year after launch. We're getting into the stage where the games are actually made for next-gen consoles specifically. Because we had this weird thing with BF4 and Call of Duty Ghosts where they tried to make it at the same time for all 5 platforms. And the result of that was, well, I mean, we saw what happened with BF4. I don't know if that's perhaps one of the things that made the release of BF4 so sloppy, was the fact that they had all of this extra work to do. But it meant that the games weren't really as next-gen as they could have been. So now we're getting to the stage now where the games coming out will be more advanced, and I think Master Chief Collection is the best example of that so far. That's a really, really cool experience that you can play on 100, like over 100 maps or something like that. I don't really get how that's going to work from a like weapons and equipment point of view, because I can understand how you can have King of the Hill. Like, you go into the King of the Hill playlist, for example, and they've got all the maps from Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 in there. But the Halo 4 maps... Obviously, Halo 4 was a very different game to Halo 1.
Yeah.
Or Halo 2.
Class loadouts and all sorts.
Yeah, and you got like the drops coming in and all that stuff. And I don't know if...
But that's different in Halo 4, is where you have these different game types. For instance, MLG. MLG was without a radar, very bare bones, no drops, nothing. You had, I think you had Slayer BR Legendary as well as a playlist on Halo 4, which just basically, without all the drops, but still have everything the same. So that's more like Halo 3. So I think those are going to be very different. And I don't think he actually had a King of the Hill playlist, but it was just part of the, let's say, Team Slayer playlist.
Right.
You could choose, and you would have Team Slayer BRs, King of the Hill, Capture the Flag, or Team Objective. I think it's probably Team Objective that was the one.
Yeah.
So
I assume
it's got to be grouped in different categories, where you could go casual, everything is in. You can go MLG, where it is very bare bones without radar, and then you could go like you could probably have something like something like a nostalgic playlist as well, where it would be very similar to Halo 3, and just Halo 3 maps or just Halo those maps. I think Halo's good at that. I think Halo is good at organizing playlists to play online and having good fun and getting specifically what you want to play.
I think
your internet's breaking up a little bit there, Minder.
Oh, we got a freeze.
Don't
freeze.
That you're talking without moving your lips. This is incredible.
There he is. You don't have to keep the big screen on me, by the way.
There we go. I think me speaking, I don't know if me speaking shifts it. So, okay. The sad thing about these remasters is that they are the best games on the systems. That's what's happening. These games are coming out 1080p, 60 frames per second. And that's the thing that's important to me. You said about how visually the games look better on the next gen, which is exactly what they've become obsessed with. This, make everything shiny, make Destiny look insane. And it looks insane, but it runs at 30. And that is a big deal for me on a shooter, on a racing game. It's a massive deal to me. And having Halo 1080p 60, having The Last of Us 1080p 60, it is such a better experience. And I think that would have been a nice next-gen effort, having everything 1080p 60, sacrificing some shadows, some textures, It is a shame that the industry is kind of hell-bent now on just showing shiny games and selling it before you've actually seen it and played it yourself. So it is all about making it.
Watch Dogs got a lot of flack, didn't it, for claiming to be 1080p 60 and then not actually being either of those things, I think.
Well, mostly because the gameplay itself wasn't amazing.
Well, but see, here's the thing: for like an open world game like Watch Dogs, 30 FPS for me is fine. Obviously 60 FPS looks better, and I think 60 FPS for a shooter is a necessity. Obviously COD has always had 60 FPS,
Right.
Which is one of the things that I really enjoyed about how fast-paced and fluid the motion in that game always was in that engine. And I just feel like for open world games, something like Skyrim or Watch Dogs, a 30 FPS is fine, but I would like to see that 1080p, certainly.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why Watch Dogs came under so much fire is because they claimed that it was better than it actually was. And let's hope that the same thing doesn't happen. Let's hope that the Master Chief Collection really does run at 1080p 60 and doesn't have random frame drops. And let's hope that the same is true of remastered Last of Us.
It will.
When they remastered those games, the priority that they did, which I wish was the case with every bloody game, was that they went, all right, it's got to be 1080p 60. So they got to that, and then they started, remastering textures, shadows, all that stuff, with keeping the 1080p 60 right at the front of the objective. Whereas now it's just, all right, 792p, yeah, that's all right, yeah, let's have that.
Yeah,
but it looks nice on E3's projector. So go on.
That's what always has been a good part of Halo. The engine is so solid of Halo. I've never had a point where I had, man, a fucking netcode bullshit. Well, you had the problem with being hosts, but that was the whole matchmaking system that's going to be gone now because you have dedicated servers in Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. But I think what they have right now is they slightly stepped up from the engine they had on Halo 4 because that was really pushing the Xbox 360 to be. Even that game on Xbox 360 looked amazing, so they had to bump that up for Halo 5. And then they just basically used that engine that is so modular, and then they just changed the textures to a point where you can just use it as a Master Chief Collection. Change the textures, the weapons, a little bit, so that within the same engine, the game works just as well as you would have it developing for Halo 5. I think it's just they make it so well and so modular that if you look at for instance, you see Destiny. Destiny, if I see that footage, it reminds me so much of Halo, how it looks like, how it feels, how it moves, how the jumping and the grenades are really important. And it's just obviously it's Bungie, but they decided to go very similar with that. They could have gone entirely different with that game, but they decided to go with exactly how very similar to how that looks, just because it's been so successful for them, and that's how they do it. And you see 343. People were kind of skeptical about them. Well, they also have now a shit ton more money than Bungie had, so they're doing their shit right. And I'm totally confident about Halo being good and 1080p 60 FPS. I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you see, if I trust any remaster, of a multiplayer game anyway, it's going to be the Halo ones, because a few people in the COD community have been throwing around this idea of perhaps Activision doing something similar with the Call of Duties, because there's been a demand for bringing a simple COD 4, COD 5-esque type game back for a long time now. And honestly, I think it is something that we might well see in a few years' time. I would not be surprised if the Halo Master Chief Collection does well. I would not be surprised at all if we see some kind of Call of Duty collection. But the thing is,
oh my god, can you actually imagine?
But I would not put it past them. I would not put it past them at all.
Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 4. I'd have those maps, and then you've got Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, getting those intervention quick scopes.
See, and the funny thing is I would probably buy that game. I'd probably be the sucker that bought that game if I. Assuming, because like I said, I mean, we are probably going to get an Xbox One. I don't know, like Minder said, I don't know when I'm going to pick one up. But I've got the money for it from working over summer. So,
one sec.
Anytime soon, looks like I'm gonna transition back into console gaming again, which is I actually haven't played on console for about a year now. So my aim
really that long.
Yeah, I mean, because I went to university and I left my Xbox at home. I didn't want to bring a TV and stuff with me.
That is
Bring
a
my
sin by itself.
HD PVR for recording and that kind of thing. So I've pretty much exclusively been PC since last September. And
Wow.
yeah, it's weird. I played a little bit on my brother's Xbox a few weeks ago when I went back home to visit, and I was pretty bad. I played a bit of Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
My aim was really off, but I had that glorious aim assist, just dragged me back on, dragged me back on there.
I was just about to say. But it is actually quite quite funny that you say that, because I recently went back and played Halo 4 on the Xbox again, and I noticed how rusty. Look, I have the controller right next to me. I have it hooked up to my second screen, but I don't have sound from it, so I just play Halo without sound, which is totally fine because you have a radar. Thank God. But I noticed that with the controller, I was gripping it weirdly because I had a strain in like one of my fingers that I wasn't used to using a controller anymore. That I wasn't physically capable of holding the controller anymore. I was being a fucking derp. Like, how the fuck do I use this thing? And then eventually I got into it, and then a friend of mine came over who actually regularly plays on the Xbox 360, which he has, and we were playing Halo 3 and got absolutely dicked on. But I got it around to work a little bit when I was finally playing Halo 3. But it takes a little while. Definitely, you're definitely used to WASD and then a mouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll come back to me in no time at all, because I've been playing. I played my Xbox for many more years before I got my PC, so I'm more used to controllers than a mouse and keyboard, if anything.
Yeah.
Just gonna take a little while to get used to it again. So I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite? What did you first think of when you first saw Halo Master Chief Collection and you suddenly realized, along with everyone else, oh, holy shit, they're actually doing this. They're putting all of them into one game. This is the fucking coolest thing ever. What bits of Halo are kind of your favorite memories? What bits instantly sprung to mind? Like, oh yes, I'm gonna get to relive that.
I immediately have one in mind. It was Halo 3, and the friend that I was playing Halo 3 with the other day. Back in the day, we used to do a lot of Halo. For instance, we once had a day planned out in the vacation. We were planning on going to his house. Well, he was already at his house, but I was planning on going to his house at 8 a.m., fire up Halo 3, and finish the legendary campaign on co-op until the end of the day. That was the whole deal. So we were really, really trying to get to that. And eventually, after like 13 hours, I think we got to that. And we were just looked at each other like. And back then, you also had remember those specific helmets you got from Halo 3, where you got if you completed that, you got like a ninja helmet. Yeah. So he was like, oh my god, I can't wait. The ninja sword on your back. I can't wait to use that. We were so excited. And also, back on the split screen when we did that, we had a 4-way split screen. They had quite a big TV, and his brother was so insanely good in Halo 3. They had like tournaments on his school where he would win every time. And I remember at one time we were always 2v2. At one time, like we would always lose, but we won once. And I always remember how much I fucking celebrated then. And so the controller started flying around the room. We started screaming, and then his parents came. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, oh, we won! And that was such an epic moment. I remember that was on Guardian. And since then, Guardian is my favorite map in Halo 3. Mostly because I won that one time. The one time when it mattered. When it was on split screen, on a screen this size, with bumper jumper, and we finally won. That was those memories. And that's what, that we really want to relive with the Halo Master Chief Collection.
It's weird because I do have a lot of split screen memories from Halo 2 and Halo 3 as well, and some other games on the console. Now I can't actually imagine playing split screen. Now it seems like why would I want to share my screen? Like,
it's even 4x3 as well.
Playing this little or when it's just 2 people and you've got this really stretched bar at the bottom. Like no, I don't want that at all. But for me, I never. My parents were actually like really strict on games consoles and that kind of thing when I was younger, so I didn't own an Xbox or anything. I didn't get a 360 until I was actually like 15 or something. So I pretty much played around my friends' houses, and I played Halo 1 and Halo 2. I had a friend who was really, really into Halo and used to go into his house and play it. I never played the campaigns of those games because we always used to play split screen multiplayer. So I'm actually really excited to play the Halo 1 and Halo 2 campaign with this because I've never actually got to experience that. Which
So you did play the Halo 3 campaign?
I did. I've played the shit out of the Halo 3 campaign.
Wasn't it a huge spoiler then? Because it is a whole story.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't remember it well enough now, so
Okay.
It'll be fine. I've actually planned on perhaps if I can set time aside from uni to maybe live stream all the way through all of the campaigns. I think that would be pretty fun. But we'll see about that. But yeah, it's my particular favorite memories from for Halo 3 is the one that I actually I got my Xbox and played it with my friends, and we used to play custom games all the time, like all of those crazy wacky game modes that someone on someone's friends list has made. This like hilarious custom game, like the ones where you're in like a platform floating in the middle of the sky and you had to ram each other off with warthogs or ghosts.
Everyone Spartan lasers.
Yeah, or the ones with like Spartan lasers and like, or just like you just have to stick each other with plasma grenades. Those were the best times, and of course, going for the achievements and the legendary campaign was a lot of fun as well. I think I did the legendary campaign over Xbox Live with a friend, but I do remember one time, like you did, we kind of organized like in a calendar, like right, we're gonna all take our Xboxes to my friend's house, basically a little LAN party, and we're gonna go for the Vidmaster achievements. And there's that one Vidmaster annual. Right. You have to like do the last mission in Ghosts.
Yeah.
And it took us so many times, and we started doing. I think we'd stayed up all night playing like Gears of War 2 and just COD 4 and all the best 360 games. And we only started Vismaster Annual around like 4 a.m. So we were already pretty tired. We were just making stupid mistakes, like just crashing into each other. Everyone's dying. I think you have like iron-ons, the skull iron, so you have to go back like miles every time you die.
Yeah, I remember.
And oh man, those were just the best memories. And obviously, there's a lot of nostalgia there and that kind of thing. But I'm hoping that I can relive at least some of that Halo magic with the Master Chief Collection.
Okay, because I feel kind of bad because Max said you didn't really get into Halo, did you?
I was never very good at it, and I usually just end up playing. Back in the day, I usually just gave up on things as opposed to giving them a go. But since I got a PC, I've struggled through them. But with Halo, it was more the fact that I wasn't very good, but when I went to play it, there was always something new. Bungie always supported the community. There was always new playlists, and the fact that they had Forge with Map Maker, there was always I was playing on maps that I'd never seen before. All the time. That had been created by the community and promoted by Bungie, and I wish that was still a thing. I wish map makers were as popular, but obviously DLC, it's better to get people to buy maps than have them make them and give them out for free.
Do you remember Griffball?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Griffball was so much fun.
And my brother was always the good one. He's just, he's great at Halo, and he's got Griffball where he picks it up, hammers twice behind him, flies into the air and just scores. I was just about to say, I'm just like,
MLG tactics.
I'm just like, right.
I was so pissed. Every time, I was so pissed.
Yeah, just saw him do it.
I could never do that.
No, just like, what the fuck?
No,
that was so much fun. They had one weekend where they just had Griffball weekend, and I remember that I played literally 10 hours a day. And like on the Sunday, at like two hours left, I finally got good at the game. But so did everyone else, of course. So yeah, good memories on Halo, definitely.
No, I think you're right. The community support was absolutely fantastic back then, and I hope that there's something like that with this game.
Well, I think also. Sorry, Jamie. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Okay, so because I think that really was important to Halo was also esports. I think Halo, FPS-wise, Halo really led the charge for esports when it comes to MLG tournaments. And if you remember those MLG guys on
well.
Halo, yeah, well, of course. But when you think about on console, Halo 2 and Halo 3, those guys were so famous because they were basically the optic of those days. They were so famous because they did what they were doing, and they were so good at it. And like last time on Gamescom, I saw a live stream from Halo, from the official Halo live stream, and they actually had the guys that were on those teams back in Halo 2, play the Halo 2 Master Chief Collection, and you would see it was just the same experience. It felt so similar to that. That's why I don't have any doubts that Halo Master Chief Collection is going to be what they said it's good, what they're saying it's going to be.
Yeah,
So,
it's such a mammoth franchise, and it's got so many really dedicated fans that they were not gonna try and mess with it or anything. Although I think Jack Frag said in he uploaded some Halo 2 gameplay, and he said they have added a few things on a couple of the old maps.
they balanced some of the maps, haven't they? Like the sniper point in certain areas where the line of sight may have been a bit questionable, and you could shoot spawns and stuff like that. I think they've added stuff to make it
People
difficult.
forget that it might have been really good, but no game is perfect.
No.
And although I'm sure the kind of the purists will be like, wow, why are you messing with the maps? We just want, if you're going to remaster it, you should just leave it the same. But there is room for improvement there. Whether what they've done will improve it remains to be seen, I guess. But I can't really blame them for tinkering a little bit to try and improve things.
So to take a turn, to turn this on its head a bit, if we look at remasters as being a bit easy, maybe not original, maybe it's a bit sad that there are so many coming out and originality, new IPs. All we're seeing right now is sequels. We've got everything has a sequel. It's coming out soon, and then we've got remasters. We don't actually have bar Destiny, which is so like Halo that it's not really playing a big risk. It does seem a bit sad that we're supporting unoriginal content. Or what do you think? Do you think would it be better to see 343 try something completely new rather than dedicate more time to just doing a Halo again? Or
you mean Bungie?
No, 343 for Halo.
Making the Master Chief Collection.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about.
Well, Bungie are doing Destiny, and you said it obviously borrows things from Halo. It's definitely inspired because obviously they've been inspired by past work, but it's not a massive risk. Whereas I don't know of a new IP. What's a new IP now that we can look forward to? So we've got.
I almost said Star Wars Battlefront, and I was like, oh no, wait, yeah, no, the Division is a good example.
It looks good. It looks good.
What's that again? Sorry.
It's kind of an MMO. It is a mix between an MMO and an FPS.
The Division.
It's based in post-apocalyptic.
Okay, yeah.
New York
The problem with that is that they announced the Watch Dogs and the Division kind of like in the same situation, and I just went, oh, that's quite a lot of borrowed assets. Like it looked like it took part in the same place at times. I was like, ooh, okay. But it's a Snowdrop engine, isn't it? I know it's a completely different engine, so
that engine looks well. So they've made it look absolutely stunning.
Right.
Hopefully, it does actually
look like that.
Look like that in the finished product.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to get at. But so we do have that, but there's a severe lack of new stuff to look forward to, and I definitely think the budget of these games is definitely less risky to just go with remasters, go with sequels that definitely have success ahead of them, and we support it anyway. We drop dollars on it, even though consoles don't have backwards compatibility. I can't play The Last of Us PS3 on my PS4. I have to buy this new game. Even though that's an issue, we're still kind of supporting this remastering trend that's going on, and we don't really. I don't think people look at the negative side of it. I don't. Maybe it's not a massive issue. Maybe you just don't support the things you don't care about.
Well, so
but that's the difference. Sorry, Jamie, if I can intervene here.
Yeah, go for it.
That's the difference between the remastered edition of The Last of Us, and if you look at the Master Chief Collection, which is basically the remastered edition of the Halos, it is the collection that is really making it interesting. You're going to be paying the exact same price, which normally you would buy the remastered collection for max price for, let's say, Last of Us. You're going to be paying $60, €60, £40, I think, for it. For one game, which you already played, you really know everything, but it's just basically for the nice textures. And the Halo Master Chief Collection, they showed with the first remaster of Combat Evolved, it's in there, but they showed that they really know how to do that properly, because it was actually quite popular. Also because it was a long time ago when that game came out. And that's just going like, you know what, we should just ask the same price, but do an entire collection of all those games. And I think that's why, you know, especially the Halo fans are going like, oh my god, I don't have to, I just can get rid of all my old stuff that I have with the Xbox 360 just because I already have an Xbox One, and I just buy this Master Chief Collection and I'm set. I'm back Halo'd up, basically.
Right, so I was pretty much going to say a very similar thing to what Minder said, because I think I don't feel like it's fair to give 343 a lot of flack for remastering when they've put so much into one single priced game. I think if you're going to remaster, then do it as a collection type thing. The Last of Us, I can see why people would level the argument that it's a bit lazy at them. Although I don't see anyone saying that about GTA 5, for example. I don't think they're going to add really a lot more into GTA 5 on next gen versus old gen, but I don't really see anyone complaining about that being remastered. Maybe it's just because it doesn't have remastered in the title.
Well, and the game itself is just a lot different. It is a lot more about gameplay rather than looks. That game.
True.
And you do have worse culprits where you've got Tomb Raider, you know, the definitive edition where it looks better. She's got the Tress FX hair, and it's all, you know, wavy and beautiful. But obviously, PC kind of had the definitive edition from the get-go. But yeah, it is sometimes lazy, and obviously with 343 and the Halo remastered, it's definitely justified and worth supporting. But even The Last of Us, which is tremendous, you know, it's a lot of it leans on the story, but the setting does obviously make an impact. But I think it's justified to force us to buy a remastered rather than have this backwards compatibility. I would love to play the PS3 version when I got my PS4. You know, we've got that in the house, and it's just a shame that this is the way it is. I guess it's just what we pay for, isn't it? It's what we tolerate, and they'll keep pushing it until we stop supporting it. And we can complain, we can angrily tweet as much as we want, but at the end of the day, we're still going to put money down. Whether it's Battlefield Hardline, whether it's some other controversy, it's still going to be supported, isn't it? So
yeah, well, I actually said this in a video that's going up tonight. So when the podcast goes up, it'll already have been uploaded, and it's about pre-orders and how sort of bonus content that gets dangled underneath the noses of gamers these days. Quite often they're actually making content specifically to put it behind a pre-order barrier. We saw that with Tomb Raider. There were bonus tombs that they'd made, but they didn't make them available to anyone unless they pre-ordered them. So it's like, why not just put those in the game and have a more rich variety of content in your actual game? And the problem is that, like you said, it's down to demand. I mean, people,
right,
as long as gamers keep on throwing down money for pre-orders, throwing down money for subpar products or products that kind of exploit that, nothing's going to change unless, you know, we kind of decide as a whole that we don't want to put up with it anymore. And I don't know if maybe that will happen in a few years' time. But the same goes with sort of microtransactions and that kind of thing. As long as people are buying them, that from a business standpoint, the games industry has no reason to not keep, you know,
pushing,
riding on that gravy train. Like there's
right. It's not big enough of a problem to take action against. We might boycott a game, but it doesn't mean that everyone else is going to. It's hardly ever the case, and I think I don't know, pre-order stuff as well. It gets so much media attention. Like I'll receive press releases saying, "Oh look, if you pre-order this," and then some other outlet will actually write about it, show it off. You know, everyone's into the pre-ordering, and I think this glorification of it as well, where the media should, as a voice for us, and Total Biscuit did a good video on this yesterday, as they're on our side, or they should be, and they should just not touch those, should they? They shouldn't support pre-orders at all, and it would be nice to see not just us supporting them with pre-ordering it and giving our money, but just the fact that we talk about it and market it through word of mouth. Like Assassin's Creed with its super pants, you pre-order, you get some pants. That was on the top of Reddit, and it's bad press is still press, and
Yeah.
like I said though, it's not big enough of a problem to make a big deal about, and
No, it's like ultimate first world problems.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
what I'm wondering, sorry, Mac. What I'm wondering is how much are those pre-orders going to make a difference for the actual game development-wise? Not much, right?
No, it's just extra for the $4 a person for a publisher.
Exactly, but when you compare it to Steam Early Access, which is a lot different, it is basically a pre-order, but you get to play the game that is unfinished just early. But if you think about it, it's just giving money beforehand. But with Steam Early Access, you can see the game really changed. Good example, DayZ. It wasn't necessarily a huge team when they started out. They had, I think, around 14 people working on the game. Right now, they have bought Bohemia Interactive has got so much money from DayZ, especially because there's been over 2.5 million sales of that in Steam Early Access, that they have a whole new studio just to work on the different models and textures within DayZ. And you can just see, like, currently, I think there's like between 110 and 120 people working on the game. 10 times as much than when it was without Steam Early Access.
Right.
So I would rather pay my money for Steam Early Access for, I know that it's going to be done right, because if you look at Rust, for instance, or other early access games, there is that risk that the game is never going to be truly finished because you give them money beforehand. But with stuff with like a developer like DayZ, Dean Hall, being so innovative, you can see that, all right, well, I'm gladly paying the money for a game that I will receive later as a full game. But you can be either involved in development, and of course that comes with its problems as well with DayZ. Like, oh, this shit isn't working, and people get, trying to go away from DayZ and then come back, and then they go away again just because stuff isn't working. Stuff is working. And if you compare it to a pre-order, it is literally just, I give you money, 3 months down the line, I actually get something in return with a slight difference, a slight little bit of extra, because I gave you the money to you early. But it doesn't mean all that much when it comes to, let's say, Steam Early Access.
And I imagine Assassin's Creed already had these pants, and that they just cut them out and said, all right, we'll use that as our pre-order incentive. And it's just like, sometimes it's so cringeworthy where you're playing, I think it was Kingdom of Amalur that I was on, and I tried to go down this tunnel to do this mission, and it said, you need the DLC, and I'm like, what? You mean this was already made? It's at the very start of the game. And I'm like, right, okay then, I guess I won't be doing that. And then just...
Yeah.
It's like, where it's so blatant, and you feel dirty, the fact that you've supported this act in front of you. It's just horrendous, but obviously not big enough a deal, as I say again. So...
The lines do start to... I found this when I was scripting the video. The lines between pre-order bonuses and then microtransactions and DLC and even early access, they're all kind of in the same category of things. The lines start to blur between them, and kind of what I'm willing to pay for.
Right.
It's largely dependent on how it's worded, almost, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Like, it's a bit like navigating a minefield these days through all of the marketing bullshit and all of the little bonuses that they offer for different things. And then obviously, like, if you pre-order it from one place, you get this. If you pre-order it from another place, you get this.
That annoys me.
It's just, it's honestly, it's just confusing these days. And I'm like, do I want to support this? And it's just easier to go, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this game. Like with Far Cry 4, I'm a massive fan of Far Cry 3. One of the best games I've played, period. And Far Cry 4 looks like it's just going to be that, but with more stuff in. And I'm like, okay, I think Ubisoft are probably going to do a pretty good job of this. Why would I not want to have as much content as possible in this game? It's not like I pay more for pre-ordering it. It's not the same as DLC in that aspect. It's not behind a paywall. So why would I not want to pre-order and get that content? And with Advanced Warfare, why would I not want to get the game a day early and get double XP if I'm going to play it anyway?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just not comfortable with the way I feel like I've been exploited, and that's not a good, if you're a good company, the consumer should not feel like they've been exploited.
I think it's even worse on PC where day one releases, sometimes it doesn't work. A lot of the time, it's not as like I've got an SLI setup, and I know that I'm not going to have.
4.
Right. So these people that pre-ordered not only pre-ordered Battlefield 4, but then they went, oh, premium. I'm going to be playing this game for fucking ages. There you go, $100 or whatever. And yeah, it's we'll go on.
That was me.
It was me as well. Well, I guess no.
Please, I actually didn't buy premium. I'm not a premium sucker.
No,
but,
I did buy the game. I bought the game. I actually paid for that. But yeah, and now we're only just getting it really. In September when this patch hits the vanilla, the core game, then everyone can experience the CTE stuff. And I mean, look, I've got. What's that? Hold your horses. So I've got it on PC, and then I've got these.
You are such a sucker.
No, I'm not. But this one is
the Xbox 360 one, especially.
Right, but this one, at the moment, I try and play this. The PS4 version. I don't know how people put up with it, but
I have heard that it's
a nightmare, man.
You even motion blur, bro?
Well,
no.
It's an absolute nightmare, and PC gamers are complaining about their experience. You want to try it on PlayStation? It's unbelievable.
No, thank you.
And they're there to eBay as well. That's why they're so close to here. So.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the pre-order thing as well. I think it's kind of it's not the same as early access, like you said. Early access, you pay up front, but you get the unfinished product, and if it's done right, then you get to see that product progress. You get to be part of that. You get to give feedback, and I think that's a really cool. DayZ early access done right it's really cool that they can now have a much bigger studio working on the game, and hopefully, somewhere down the line we will see a finished DayZ, and then they're planning on bringing it to consoles as well to further boost the kind of resources that they have for that. And I'm kind of all for that really, but. With pre-orders, you throw down money up front for, I mean, not even 3 months like you said, Minder, but sometimes in the case of Halo 5 has been available to pre-order for a while now, I think. And we know nothing about the game. We've had like 1 or 2 trailers, and
I would still give them money, though. If
I had
an Xbox One, I would still give them money. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be that guy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They're kind of exploiting the fans a little bit there, I think, and they get their money. Obviously, you don't necessarily get billed, right, for the actual. You don't actually give them your money quite often with a console game, anyway. They'll bill you when it gets shipped a few days before release. But even so, they have all those pre-order figures. They're like, yes, our game is doing brilliantly with all these pre-order figures, and it's kind of like validating the product before we find out whether it's actually good or not. And that Battlefield 4 is a great example of that. People were really excited, and then we got it, and we were like, "What is this? What have you done? This isn't what we wanted."
And then they gave everyone Battlefield 3 for free, and everyone went to that for a moment and went, "Oh my god!" Like, wow.
It started with the beta. Remember the beta? Like no one could actually run the game.
Yeah, I had no luck.
And then they put out an NVIDIA driver, and it's starting to do better. Of course, not for me. I was still pissed because at that point I think I already paid for Battlefield 4 with premium, €110. So yeah, I was pissed.
Right. But the Hardline's been delayed, so we've still got some more time with this version. We've still got 6 months. So if Hardline was coming out,
I'm actually excited to see what the CT patch brings, because even though I now have premium, I got it after the CTE thing. I don't think I could get into it, so I haven't had a chance to venture into this promised land of the community test environment. But I'm kind of excited to see.
And 25 gig updates every week.
Yeah, and when you finally get in, no one's in a bloody server. It's like 4 people playing Rush. Okay,
right, looks like I didn't miss out on that much.
No, you haven't missed. Well, every time I go on, it might just be me when I jump on, but it's hard to find. It's hard to find a good game of, your chosen game type. Usually, it's just 4 servers that have a quarter of the population in.
For me, it's just sitting there in Origin, not installed. One day, every time I go in there, I look at it, go, is this gonna be the day where I actually download? No, no, I'm not gonna have my PC on for the entire day and then have that download the whole thing, and then next week I'm gonna do the exact same thing, and I'll be able to use my internet, which I'll use a lot.
So, unless you guys have any sort of final closing comments on any of the topics, we've been going for, I don't actually have a specific timer running, but maybe about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, that's all right.
So I just wanted to quickly. I can see you highlighting it in the Google Doc.
That's the point. That is kind of
it's like a live thing. Yeah, I know. So I wanted to, obviously, I don't know if you guys watching this have seen any other podcasts. Quite often they focus on the news stories. I wanted to make this fucking hell. I wanted to make this a little bit more interactive with the people on podcast and the viewers. So we're going to have a little Q&A type section at the end, if we have time on each episode, where you guys can leave questions either for a specific one of the hosts, or if I tell you we have a specific guest coming on that you want to ask a question to them, we can do that. Or you can, give us a topic or something to talk about, anything along those lines. Now, obviously this week we don't have any viewer questions, so I came up with one just to help everyone get to know each other a little bit better. We could talk about our favorite games of recent years, or perhaps our favorite childhood memories. Give you guys a bit of an idea of our sort of gaming background. I'll also say at this point in the show, this is where I'll talk about the sponsor a little bit more if we've got a sponsor. So again, if you're interested, Glasse couldn't be
There's
here.
some awesome Call of Duty videos. That guy I've seen so far.
The best god YouTuber out there.
He's gonna hate me for that. No, he's a great battlefielder.
Montages and things.
Yeah, great commentator from the land.
He is definitely my favorite. I watch every video. So many subs. Great.
So I'll gush about The Last of Us for a moment. In that the experience for me, it was quite unique to. Usually, if a game comes out and it's got amazing reviews, I'll make it my mission to play it. Whereas The Last of Us, I didn't have a PS3 for too long, so I missed it. I just didn't play it. And so I was playing this game that had so many 5-star reviews, 10 out of 10s. It was weird. It was like watching a Tom Hanks movie that you haven't seen yet. It has to be good, and it's quite intimidating going through it and knowing you're gonna have to love this. But and it's weird seeing something that has so much hype that you think it can't possibly live up to, and then it just pays off. And I know I don't think you two have played it, but it's just insane. And I think storytelling in gaming, for the most part, is pretty shocking these days. It's usually everything comes before that. But then Naughty Dog, yeah.
Well, that's why they're turning it into a movie, right?
Right, and if you, there's actually a live performance of it. They did a play, like different acts from it with the voice actors. So you've got Troy Baker doing Joel, and it's insane. And it's just mad.
Sounds
And
awesome, actually.
talking about childhood games, my first game was Crash Bandicoot 3 that I owned personally, and that was Naughty Dog as well. So it's nice to see them entertaining me in the my childhood years, and then really making me think in these years. So yeah,
I sent him a message going, Naughty Dog, you have touched me in places ever since I was young, and you still continue to do so to this day.
The Last of Us, you need to watch Let's Play or something if you can't get the game. It's just mad.
I'm gonna be honest and say I watched Frankie's walkthrough.
Has he done the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was actually looking forward to it every day, and he did it. He did it well. But it sometimes felt like a little bit scripted, like he does, because I have a feeling that what he does with his videos, he records the whole thing, gets a perfect run, and then I'm gonna make a voiceover of this thing, and then I can tell really clever stuff. Like I think there's a guy around the corner, looks around the corner, there's a guy. Oh my God, I'm so amazing. I know this.
Yeah.
Shit. Right. Like he does that on DayZ as well, which kind of pisses me off.
I saw a Far Cry 3 video when it came out, and he did the same thing. Although I did a similar thing, but I was doing a Minecraft hardcore run-through. It was like a joke video where hardcore Minecraft means once you die, that's it at the end of the series.
Yeah.
So at the start, I chose a map that was just dead high up, so I'm digging, and then I just fall off and die in the first 2 minutes. And then I go, oh no, And I think
Exposed.
yeah, you can't even find that. I don't even know what that is anymore. I think it's on a very old channel.
We'll find it.
Yeah, and
viewers, you know what you must do.
By Will, I mean Jamie.
Frankie's very. From when I watched him, I subbed when he was at like 6,000 and he was uploading Crysis 3 to Pixel Enemy. That's what Frankie was doing. So I was watching
Represent.
him, loving it, and
What happened?
yeah, well, I don't know. He was always the guy with the high quality and all that stuff. He's just taken a few turns that might not be considered too morally positive.
Sound.
But anyway, yeah, let's move on.
So Minder.
Yeah.
You've got a game. Mac did sort of a recent one in childhood. Do you want to tell us about a game that has touched you in places, however inappropriate that may be?
Oh, I'm trying to think of a game other than Halo.
I mean, it can be Halo. We've heard about you.
We've talked about Halo.
Halo fetish.
We jerked off Halo way too
What
much.
was your first game on PC? What did you learn to play PC with? Like,
That is a good question.
That is a good question. I actually have. I think is it over here? Maybe. My laptop. I used to play games on my laptop. It was an Alienware.
Hey.
yeah, man.
Good.
M11X laptop, which is 11.2 inches.
All right.
You know, among other things that are 11.2 inches. And with the with the GTX, I think it was a 335M graphics card. And what I played on there on my with a really old YouTube channel I played Minecraft and CS Source. And I actually became pretty good with that on CS Source because I was doing like the AWP, just like rushing around corners thing.
Yeah.
That's how I really got into PC gaming for me on that laptop. And then I saw a lot of, for instance, Frankie play the DayZ mod, which were to me the most exciting times when watching his channel back when he was not doing all those voiceovers. Him playing the DayZ mod made me want to play DayZ mod, and then I downloaded the whole thing, and then on my laptop didn't realize it wouldn't run at all. I was literally watching a PowerPoint presentation, and you hear this more often, but I was seriously playing at 2 FPS, and I had fun playing it, and then I got killed, of course. And then I got my PC, and I was like, all right, first thing I am installing is DayZ, and I installed DayZ, and then from there on out, I played so much DayZ, actually owned a server once, and totally admin abused. So much fun, and then from there on out, my whole PC experience started.
Nice.
Well, if I just want to wade in on the first PC game thing. So the reason I built my PC was pretty much my whole group of friends that really got me into playing on Xbox. When I was around 14, 15, we went from playing on Nintendo DS's to being on Wii. We were kind of Nintendo fanboys, and then we just drifted into Xbox 360, like Halo and COD 4 and that kind of thing. But then kind of as kind of 16, 17, quite a few of the kind of group just stopped gaming. They grew up or something, I don't know. And I was left with this, like, not many people were playing on Xbox 360 anymore, and a couple of my friends had started building kind of pretty high-spec gaming PCs. And obviously, doing YouTube at the time, I wanted something a little bit more powerful to edit and render on, because I was using my awful I don't know how I ever actually made videos on my old laptop. It's a complete joke to me. And the first game that I actually ended up playing seriously probably was Minecraft, but Battlefield 3 I played on Xbox a shitload, and then one of my friends convinced me to get that on PC. I was like, but I already have the game. He's like, no, dude, Battlefield on PC. You have to get it on PC. It's so much better. And I was like, okay then. And that was the first time I really had to, practice with mouse aim and get used to the whole control system. And it was a really, really. I think I would recommend BF3 as a really good game to transition from console to PC, because it's not that fast paced compared to something like Counter-Strike or if you wanted to play like a Call of Duty on PC, I think Battlefield's quite a good. And then you have that little bit more health, and the engagements are quite long range a lot of the time. I think it's quite a good game to transition on.
I use that. I actually went on the single player. I just went right. If I play through the single player, just learning as I go, then I'll take it. Because I actually went on the multiplayer, and this was when I was using like 4,000 DPI and some other stupid thing. So I'd like move my mouse and I'd do like 720s, whereas now I'm just on the stupidly low CS style crap. But so I was on the single player, and then when I came out of that, I jumped into multi, and I was much better than when I obviously started. And I think once you've got that down a bit, I'd really recommend Titanfall. Although at the moment, maybe not. But Titanfall for me, it just feels like the movement and the speed of it. I really think it trains you in the mouse, the way of the warrior for the mouse. But yeah, and it's kind of interesting to me that you use CS and you used DayZ to learn, because those seem like really punishing games and not like a really nice way.
Sounds like a very punishing.
It's like
environment to learn.
I'm going to start PC gaming. All right then, let's jump on the hardest.
It's the most hardcore FPS in existence.
And the most punishing survival game. Like, all right. Mine has just got massive balls.
Whereas I was fucking hardcore, man.
I was killing AI in single player.
Especially CS Source. In the beginning, it was just me joining one of those servers with around 40 people on, a lot of bots in as well, of course.
Yeah.
And then it is basically deathmatch or team deathmatch. You spawn in, you can pick any gun you want, any gun, just like click, 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 go, and then just fucking kill everyone that you see, and then alright, died, click, click, go. And you even have like a shortcut where you can rebuy everything. So every time I would spawn with a deagle, I would spawn with an op, and then just start moving. Died, alright, F3, go. Died, okay, F3. And then eventually, I did that literally for weeks. And then eventually I came to the point where, well, shit, I'm not actually having to press F3 as much anymore because I actually get kills. Mostly bots, but other than that, and yeah, that's how I started learning it. And if I had to do that now, I'd get pissed off so much. Like in those days, I was just a happy soul. Right now,
I think it's funny when you're brand new to a game, isn't it? You kind of put up with so much because you kind of assume that every death is fair, and it's just because you're bad. Like you don't have any expectations of how the game is supposed to be played. So I mean, it's a perfect example because I learned CS:GO quite recently. I'd never played a Counter-Strike game before. I played Demolition and Arms Race and like casual and stuff like that to try and get used to the controls, and then I went into competitive. And first 10, 15 matches of competitive probably, I was like, okay, I'm still improving. Like these guys are probably better. Didn't do too badly. Got ranked pretty highly when I've actually got ranked. But within a few matches of me being ranked on CS:GO, I'm starting to rage just a bit. I'm like, fucking teammates or that kill, and CS.
It's always a teammate. It's always
the teammates.
And then you remember, like, okay, I probably should have done better there.
I think first-person
Counter-Strike's got way less, bullshit, netcodey stuff than Battlefield or COD. And it's the first time I played COD as well. I probably didn't rage at all. Now I can't imagine going through an entire game of COD without having one bullshit death where I want to throw the controller through the wall.
Shout out to the title of the podcast.
Oh no, yeah, Netcode.
Yeah. Nice segue there. See, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah.
Good job, subconsciously.
I think the very nature of a first-person shooter, it gets us so angry, and then I reckon it fuels so much. You die in this game, you alt-tab, and then you just have a rant on Twitter, and it causes so much anger in general. I think I love
your rage.
These people that play on Minecraft, fine, wicked, go for it. I bet you are the most relaxed people, and you don't have any stress, And we're here.
We've got a higher life expectancy, the Minecraft YouTubers versus the COD YouTubers.
We're on bloody Twitch shooters getting grey hair at 20, and it's like, it's just, there's something not right there. And,
it is worrying, isn't it?
I mean, even me, I'll just be like, teammate. Well, no, for me, it's when people block areas, like if there's a doorway and you want to retreat, and they'll just be stood in the doorway. Whereas,
it's like, what were you contributing? You
is it Counter-Strike and Team Fortress where you can walk through teammates? Is that a thing?
Well, Counter-Strike competitive, you can't.
Counter-Strike.
Casual, you can.
I mean, I wish that was more popular. Just let us walk through these people that are blocking doorways and I mean, it sounds like a small issue, but next time you're playing one of these games, you'll notice how often this happens. Where
4 people standing in the exact same position, one op shot goes through, like.
Right, yeah.
The snipers would be so mad that there'd be far less squad feeds.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen.
A lot of team kills.
But just to bring it back to the kind of original question, in terms of, obviously we've spoken about Halo. In terms of childhood games, like I said, I didn't play that many games when I was young, like really young, because I was the oldest kid in the house. My parents didn't play games. Although having said that, my dad had quite a few driving games. He had a steering wheel for the PC. He had like F1 and some rallying games, and they were really, really cool. Probably one of my favorite games from my childhood. I don't know if you guys ever played Star Wars Republic Commando.
No.
I think it was on consoles as well as PC. That was a fantastic Star Wars game, and since then I haven't found a Star Wars shooter that, because I never really played Battlefront 2 that much.
Oh man.
So I'm really for Battlefront 3 or it's not actually called Battlefront 3, is it? It's just Battlefront.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that it's been a while. So apart from the Lego Star Wars games, which are fucking amazing, we haven't really had a good Star Wars game for quite a while. So I'm really excited for that. And then of course I mentioned the classic Xbox days, COD 4, Halo 3, Gears of War 2, were all absolutely amazing games. And then Far Cry 3 as well. Definitely one of my favourites up there. And the trailers and stuff they had. I don't know if you guys saw the live action trailers that they did for Far Cry 3 with the guy who plays McLovin.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head what the actor is called. But they were absolutely amazing. They were so good. And Vass is just the best baddie I've seen in any film or gaming. He's one of the best. He's so well scripted. The voice acting is phenomenal. And I hope, hopefully Far Cry 4 can deliver on. We've got quite an interesting bad guy in Far Cry 4, so hopefully we've got something similar there.
And he's causing a lot of controversy anyway, isn't he? Just, I think the fact that he wore a pink coat was getting people, like, it just blows my mind sometimes, like, how people comment on these things.
The internet is just looking for something to be angry about all the time. I'm convinced there are just people who are like, right, what can I write an angry comment about today? Oh, something happened at the VMAs, that'll do. Like,
and I get Assassin's Creed not having a woman player model. I kind of understand that. I understand their excuse of it being budgeting. That could actually be valid, but obviously, I bet they could have cut some of the marketing budget just to put a female in there rather than forcing these pre-order pants on us and whatnot.
How are they going to sell all those games without that marketing budget, though?
It's a bloody sequel. We all know about it anyway. It's not like they need to market it. Everyone that's bought the last 19 Assassin's Creed games knows there's going to be an Assassin's Creed Unity. So it's and I don't even think I'm exaggerating by that much. Assassin's Creed. I think they've got so many games, mobile and everything. They've really pushed it, and they're using the excuse of Assassin's Creed the Templar one. What is it? Rogue. So they've got Assassin's Creed Rogue.
The one that's just coming out on last gen, right?
Right, but they're so. I bet you, a lot of money. How much is a lot of money? £100 that they bring that out for next gen. I bet you. They
port it over. Well, they make it a next gen.
They are so going to do that. They've made it look like, we're just going to focus Unity on next gen, and then we've got this old one for the old gen, so it stops this parity bullshit where, they're porting across and people are losing out. I reckon they're gonna visit each other. I reckon Unity might even visit bloody last gen, but
I would not put it past them. I think Activision were always the go-to money whores, like money hungry, the Call of Duty cash cow of the gaming industry. But Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed is something else, man. It's
It's
amazing.
amusing.
It's very odd how we blame businesses for trying to make money and then providing them with a demand by buying this stuff. They're only supplying to this demand that we create, you know, and it's going to go mad. We think it's bad now. They're going to be getting as much money as possible out of us, and $100, €100, £100 for Battlefield Plus Premium. If they make it, I mean, it was supposed to be Hardline was this year, you know, and Battlefield 4 was last year. So that's an annual release. That's kind of them confirming that something's happening annually. So if they have that, if they have the Call of Duty, it's going to be crazy because people pick up Call of Duty every year. They pay for season pass as well. They are getting so much money out of us, and it's only going to continue, really.
Yeah, you see this for so long now.
Yeah, as long as we keep doing it, as long as it's us that can make the change. It's nothing to do with the business going, don't fancy making as much money this time, so you know.
What
we'll
I think
cut back.
is the best example about what you just described has to be FIFA.
Right. Oh, Ultimate
or
Team
any
and stuff.
any sport. FIFA is the biggest, but any of the sports games.
Yeah, but if you think about FIFA, right? I was two friends of mine who not very often play games on a console or just anything really. They don't play games all that often, but when they do, they're playing FIFA, and they're really good at FIFA. And I used to play FIFA a lot as well, so I'm alright at FIFA. But the latest one I have is FIFA 12 because, in my opinion, the only thing that's really different, of course, it's going to be gameplay different, but the only thing that's going to be really standing out is how the teams are set up, how, you know, which players are on which team are playing that year in that team, and therefore they are forming how good that team is. And then if you go to, and then I invited those over, and they said, all right, well, let's play FIFA, man. Yeah, sure. Like, which FIFA do you have? FIFA 12. And they got so fucking mad at me for not having FIFA 14. I was like, I'm not fucking paying €60 for a game that basically is 95% the same as a game from 2 years ago from the same series, and then have it and playing it for maybe 20 hours max, and then putting it down again. That's just, I'm not gonna do that, and that is FIFA. You know.
I think FIFA 12 is the last FIFA I could actually handle playing. Like, I've tried FIFA 13 and 14, and I'm so terrible at them. 12, me and 12 clicked. Like, I could go around to my friend's house and actually do quite well, but no, I think, yeah, it's kind of the same. Sports games are the ultimate example in, like, obviously there's a yearly release, and if you're a fan of the sport and of the game, you're gonna buy it, and it's the easiest thing ever for them. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. It's kind of annoying that there's such a low effort option.
And they've nailed microtransactions, haven't they? They've nailed.
Oh, FIFA, yeah, down to a
It's
T.
like it's mad. They've got this annual release, and then they've got microtransactions that are pimped out by all these personalities. You know, the personalities on YouTube. You've got KSI opening like 500 packs or whatever he's doing, and it's just like they don't. When the next FIFA comes out, they don't transfer over or anything, do they? You don't get like your packs.
I believe so.
You just start again, and you have
scratch.
to reinvest. So how much money? I can't even imagine.
FIFA's a cash cow.
EA probably earn a considerable amount more from FIFA than anything else.
It's probably the biggest cash cow for EA, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wager it's bigger than Battlefield, even with premium and that kind of thing.
In the European region, especially, it's definitely a very popular game. Most people I know have it. You know, like most males, I guess. I'm obviously not saying women don't buy FIFA. Not saying that, but most of the males I know have FIFA.
Bullet there.
And well, you know, media's watching.
Matrix.
And I think they do play Ultimate Team as well. And you know, once you get sucked into that kind of thing, you're putting money down. You know, one more pack, and even the strongest willed person, you still, I lost this match, but I really want this player. I'll win next. It's crazy that it restarts.
And it all adds up.
The fact that it restarts every year, that blows my mind. I didn't know that.
Don't quote me on that. I don't play FIFA. I don't.
I can
associate
imagine.
myself with
I don't know
FIFA.
why they do us a favour. I can definitely see you being right, to be honest. But COD is bad, but FIFA's a whole different level. And I imagine, like you say, they just add a few new things, like a new idea. I reckon they have like 7 ideas written down, but they're not going to implement every single one into the next one. They're just going to implement one, and then next year they're going to do the next one. It's like
feed it in.
yeah, it's like
So we've been going for quite a while now. Unless you guys have any closing comments, I'll probably close out the show.
I think it was a good topic to end it on.
Yep.
I think it was good.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot anyway.
I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Jamie's direction. It was very awkward and nice.
Only the
Expect
best.
more.
Only
Expect
the
more the
best.
next time.
It was a good, exactly. It's supposed to be awkward for the first time, and then you cuddle, and it's better the next time. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that analogy. Fine.
Way too detailed
Just
there,
leave
Mike.
you on the big screen while you say
Yeah.
that. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So
All right, do your awkward outro, and I'm actually quite looking forward to this. Okay, go.
oh wow, way to put me on the spot there. So anyway, we'd love to hear from you guys. So if you'd like to leave some comments down below, any questions and that kind of thing to be featured in the Q&A section next week, which will hopefully be joined by these two lovely gentlemen again. Max got his halo on there. Look at that.
We busted out
And his hipster glasses. Nice. And his beard. Right. Okay, we're just gonna. So yeah, Minder, you might not be here next week, but hopefully you will be. And we'll actually have a guest next week as well. It might be Glasse, it might be someone else. If there's anyone you'd actually like to see, then you can leave that down in the comments section as well. So yeah, there's not really anything else to say, I don't think.
Well, thanks for joining, of course.
Thanks for joining us. This has been
look
RoflRaptor.
Like an absolute tard.
I actually forgot about it. It's been there for a while now. Yeah, I think the monocle's a bit. There you go. See, can barely tell the difference.
All right,
Netcode Podcast, episode 1.
and
Thanks for watching.
Netcode.
Bye bye.
Bye.